you ever been reading something, maybe a news article or, a study, perhaps just hearing an argument from a friend, and you find yourself thinking, okay, not just what did they find out,
Hmm.
but how did they actually find it? And maybe even why that way? Why did they choose that specific path?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a really common confusion point, I think, and it often seems to boil down to two terms people use almost interchangeably: research methods and research methodology.
Exactly.
So today, we want to really take a deep dive and try to untangle that essential difference.
That's precisely the plan. See, our mission here is to, well, give you a bit of a shortcut, not just to understanding how research gets done, but maybe more importantly, why certain choices are made in the process.
Okay.
Think about it. You read some new health study, right?
Mm-hmm.
Claims a big breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
If you only know what they did, like, oh, they surveyed 100 people, well, you might just take it at face value.
Mm-hmm.
But if you understand why they only surveyed those 100 people, maybe from a very specific group, and crucially, why they left others out, well, that understanding of the methodology,
Yeah.
it immediately gives you a different perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
you question how far you can really trust those findings.
exactly. It's incredibly powerful for, evaluating all the stuff you come across every day.
Okay, right. Let's unpack this then. When I think research methods, my mind usually goes straight to things like surveys or maybe lab experiments. Is it broader than that? What are we really talking about with that term?
It definitely is broader, yeah. Research methods really refer to all those specific techniques, the procedures that researchers use when they're studying a problem.
Okay.
It's how they identify the data, how they collect it, process it, analyze it, all aimed at answering that core research question.
Ah, okay.
Think of them like the actual tools in a researcher's toolkit,
Yeah.
the practical steps they take.
So methods are the tools.
Got it. Can you give us some more examples? What kinds of specific tools are we likely to see?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you've mentioned experiments and surveys. You also have things like questionnaires, statistical techniques like regression or correlation analysis,
Hmm.
interviews, detailed case studies, observational trials. It's quite a wide range.
Wow, okay.
These are really the different ways researchers gather information and try to make sense of it to, well, solve the problem they're looking at. It's kind of like a chef, right? You wouldn't use a whisk to chop onions.
Right, different tools for different jobs. Makes sense.
Exactly.
So, with all these different techniques out there, how do researchers usually group them? Is there a standard way to classify these methods?
There is, generally speaking. They usually fall into about three main groups. The first group is really focused on collecting and describing the data.
Okay, the gathering part. Right. These are your direct information gathering tools. Things like interviews, questionnaires, surveys, doing observations, looking through documents and records, running focus groups, or even collecting oral histories, that sort of thing.
Gotcha. And what's the next main category then? Where does all the number crunching and analysis fit in?
Good question. The second group covers the techniques meant to help establish relationships between variables, see how things connect.
Ah, okay.
And within this group, we often make a distinction. You have quantitative studies,
Mm.
which use methods like regression analysis, great for looking at cause and effect or making predictions,
Mm-hmm.
and correlation analysis, which tells you how strongly two things might be linked.
Right.
Then for qualitative studies, you'd use different techniques like content analysis, where you might look for themes in text, or narrative analysis, focusing on stories, or discourse analysis, which examines language in its social context.
Interesting. Okay, so that's two groups. That's the third one.
The third group, well, this one is all about evaluation. It includes methods used to check the reliability, the validity, and the accuracy of the results you get after you've processed the data.
So checking the quality of the work.
Precisely. It's crucial for assessing how trustworthy the findings are. Did the methods actually measure what they were supposed to? Was the data collected sound? It's about quality control, essentially.
Okay, I think I'm getting a clear picture of methods now, the how. So if methods are the techniques, what on earth is research methodology? This is the part where I admit I sometimes get a bit tripped up.
Yeah, and you're not alone. This is really the key distinction. Research methodology is fundamentally about why.
Yeah.
Why that specific research method was used.
The reason behind the choice.
Exactly. It's the justification, the rationale for choosing one method over all the other possibilities. It answers that crucial question. Why did you pick that tool for this specific job? It's the strategic thinking.
Okay, the justification. Can you give us a practical example? Something that really makes that why aspect clear.
Sure. Sure. Let's think about different study types. A qualitative study, for example, is often the best approach when your goal is to really deeply understand a phenomenon by looking at people's personal experiences or perceptions.
Hmm.
Getting the rich detail.
Right, like understanding feelings or opinions.
Precisely. Whereas a quantitative approach using numbers and stats, that's more appropriate when you want to understand the relationship between specific variables. Measure things.
Okay.
So imagine a study looking into, say, the experiences and perceptions of women working in STEM fields.
Mhm.
In that case, a qualitative approach, maybe using in-depth interviews, would likely be the most appropriate choice because you want that rich, detailed personal insight. That choice and the reasoning, because we need nuanced lived experiences, that's the methodology.
Ah, I see. So it's not just saying we did interviews, it's
Yeah.
saying we did interviews because...
Exactly. Because we wanted to capture these nuanced lived experiences that, say, a multiple choice survey just couldn't get at.
Yeah.
That justification is the methodology. It explains the why behind the what.
That really clicks now. It's the whole strategic framework behind the methods. So what other kinds of questions or considerations fall under methodology? Is it just about choosing qualitative versus quantitative?
Oh no, it's broader than that. Methodology also forces you to address other critical questions. Things like, was the research instrument, maybe the survey or the interview guide, designed appropriately? You have to think about its validity and reliability.
Okay, so is the tool itself any good?
Right. And then why this specific instrument? You need to justify that selection. Also, very importantly, is the method we chose actually suitable for tackling the research hypothesis or the questions we set out to answer?
Does the tool fit the problem?
Exactly. And another big one is the sample size, the number of people or things studied, actually representative of the wider population we're interested in.
Yeah.
You can't just pick a number. You have to justify why that sample size is appropriate.
Wow, okay. So methodology covers the whole research design logic.
It really does. It's
Yeah.
the logical framework underpinning the entire study.
So let's try to summarize this. If I want to really wrap my head around the core difference, what's the absolute clearest, most concise way to state it?
Okay, simplest terms. Research methods are the techniques, the tools, the actions you use to solve the research problem.
The how.
The how. Research methodology, on the other hand, is the justification. It's the reasoning, the why behind applying those specific methods. It's the strategy.
Methods are actions. Methodology is the reason for the actions.
You got it. And what's really fascinating, I think, is how understanding this distinction can completely change how you evaluate information you encounter.
How?
Well, it turns you into a much more critical consumer of information, doesn't it? You start looking beyond just the headline findings. You start asking, okay, how did they find this and why did they do it that way? It prompts that important question, right? If someone tells you what they found, but they're a bit vague, or they never really explain why they chose their approach, well, how much confidence should you really place in those findings?
Yeah, that definitely makes you think twice. It reframes how you approach any claim, really.
Absolutely.
Okay, so to recap, methods are the specific tools in the toolbox: surveys, experiments, interviews, analysis techniques. Methodology is the thoughtful, reasoned strategy behind choosing those tools and explaining why they're the right ones for this particular research job.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Methods are the tactics, methodology is the overarching strategy.
Got it.
And, for you listening, maybe think about this. How understanding the justification, the why, behind any kind of problem-solving approach, not just in formal research, but maybe in your own work, or even everyday decisions, how that can lead to, well, more robust and reliable outcomes.
That's a great point. Applying a kind of personal methodology.
Exactly. Thinking about the why behind your own choices,
Yeah.
even for simple things, like how you decide to tackle a big project or plan a trip. Considering the reasoning can make a real difference. So if you go about your week, maybe mull that over. What stands out to